For a while now, I've been wanting to stick my GoPro onto a bird feeder, pointing down to get a unique angle. I didn't particularly want to ruin the feeders that usually feed my garden birds, and so I put the idea to the back of my head. I was waiting for a cheap feeder and a good excuse to experiment. Well, now I have both. It is the 44th Big Garden Birdwatch this weekend. Not only is the RSPB event the world's largest citizen science project, it is arguably an effective way to get the general public interested in birding. And what better way is there for the general public to attract birds into their gardens than buying an RSPB branded bird feeder, which are not so coincidentally on sale at the moment. This is not an opportunity I can miss. For only 20 quid, you can get one of these brown paper bags containing a wealth of goodies. You get a medium-sized peanut feeder, a medium-sized seed feeder, a small bag of sunflower hearts, and another bag of suet nibbles, and a half a dozen suet balls as well. This video isn't sponsored by the RSPB, but I do think this is a pretty good deal. Anyway, the plan is simple. Get some cheap GoPro attachments and glue them to the feeders. I ordered these third-party mounts for around 6 quid on Amazon. 3 came in a packet, so I will put 2 on the seed feeder at different heights for variation. For the adhesive, I'm using hot glue. GoPro do sell these pads that are meant to stick on these sort of surfaces, but I didn't find any that fit the curvature of the feeders. But with hot glue, I can build up blobs in the little holes created by the differing surface shapes, increasing the area attached. For the meshed peanut feeder, I am cutting up an old margarine tub. By sticking a small plastic square onto the inside of the feeder, I am again increasing the surface area. And this is what it looks like when it's dry. Professional looking? Maybe not. Sturdy enough for a GoPro? Thankfully. Able to get an interesting perspective on bird feeding behaviour? Well, let's see. As you can see, the bird feeder is slightly askew when hanging. It seems the weight of the GoPro has mildly affected the centre of gravity. But it doesn't really matter too much. It's barely visible from the GoPro's point of view. Now it's just a matter of time waiting for the birds. There are 4 perches on the seed feeder, 3 of which are visible from the GoPro. Frustratingly, it seems the birds prefer to eat in the camera's blind spot. This blue tit has nearly gotten the idea. Success! Even though it's on the low level, this robin stays long enough for us to get a good look at him. And then, after enough time, a blue tit decides to eat from the perch the GoPro was pointing at. Brief, maybe, but fortunately for us, the GoPro's been filming at 50 frames per second, allowing me to slow down the footage in post. Finally, we get a robin, looking directly into the camera before leaving. Overall, I would say the project was a success. But things are rarely perfect, so let's have a look at some of the flaws I have found. Firstly, I can't rotate the camera mount to position it better. To my annoyance, one of the mounts is pointing at an angle. Slightly. This, combined with the GoPro's lens being to one side, creates a distinctly unsatisfying lack of symmetry. If I ever made a Mark II, fixing this would be a priority. On top of this, the top perch is slightly too close to the GoPro, meaning the footage is a tad bit out of focus. You can get modifications for some GoPros to focus closer, such as changing out the protector at the front of the lens. However, I own a Hero 8, one of the few models that doesn't have this as a feature. Why not? Who knows, I sure don't. The final issue is with battery life. GoPro batteries are small, only recording around 50 minutes before giving up the ghost. It requires some level of attention to film for any sustained amount of time, but this isn't the end of the world, just a slight pain. Overall, however, I feel this project was fairly successful, and I hope to use these feeders again on other projects, after a good wash of course. I think it would be interesting to experiment with 360 cameras in the future, framing the footage in post to get preferred results, but for now, these 2 feeders will make a great addition to my wildlife filmmaking toolkit.